Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Skate. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. Skate 2. Skate 3. Tony Hawk Pro Skater. Alright, you get the point. What do all of these games have in common? Exactly. They all have a little something to do with this piece of wood with 4 wheels attached to it. What's another thing they have in common? They're fun. But if you're like me, you probably had this thought before while you were playing these games. Man, these skateboarding games are too fun. I wish there was a version of this game that could both ruin my life and my hands. Boy, do I have the game for you. Olli Olli World is a 2.5D skateboarding platformer. The 3rd game in the series, but it's a great game to have as background noise while you're crying. I mean, it's a great game to introduce yourself to the series. Now, if it isn't obviously apparent, I think this game is pretty difficult, but we'll get to that later. First, I gotta talk about the story. The game takes place in Radlandia, an island that was supposedly created by the 5 skate gods. That's gods with a Z, by the way. Now, these gods then ascended to Nirvana, and they appointed a representative called the Skate Wizard. The current Skate Wizard is retiring, so this is where the player comes in. Now it's up to you to go through the 5 districts of Radlandia to impress the skate gods blah, blah, blah. Let me keep it a buck 50 with y'all. This story is dog shit. It's really only here to be a vehicle for the gameplay. And ooh, the gameplay is so good! But first we're going to talk about more boring shit. So let's talk about some of the characters. We have the main crew, composed of Gnarly Mike, a character named Dad, Suze, your filmer, and Chiefon, the former Skate Wizard. Now, if I were to describe these characters in a single word, it would be corny. I think this was on purpose, but either way, you're gonna get a lot of corny jokes and millennial humor here. Not really a negative, but if you don't like that stuff, you'll definitely find yourself skipping most of these talking segments. Nice to meet you, everyone calls me Dad. So what are you, my dad or something? He's not actually our dad. True, I was named after my father. You got that one, guys? He was named after his father. Now, where the characters really shine is in the colorful cast of side characters that fill up the rest of the game. You got some weird, interesting, funny characters here. You got a human-shaped seagull obsessed with weightlifting. You got a fish version of that old Zoltar fortune-telling machine. You got a sleazy frog businessman. You even got Danny Trejo. I don't know how this one happened. I don't know why he's here.
Do a kickflip.
Anyways, speaking of colorful, I gotta talk about the world for a second too. This is where most of the charm of this game lies, in my opinion. I mean, just looking at the map, you can already tell this game is super stylized. Some of these designs look like they're straight up out of Adventure Time. The whole world is teeming with life, from these anthropomorphic trees that roam in the background of some of the levels to the oversized bees that hold up some of the walls you can wall ride on. Even got these 2 ice cream men that sit on the map and make me smile every time I look at them. I mean, just look at these guys. Everything in this game feels like it's living and breathing. Couple that with this soundtrack that makes me feel like I'm 4 drinks deep next to a pool in Ibiza, and you got yourself a steezy, a gnarly, it's cool. The aesthetic of this game is cool. Anyways, let's finally move on to the main selling point of this here virtual game. The gameplay. As I said earlier, this game is a 2.5D platformer where the main objective of each level is to get to the end of the level. Now, doing this is easy enough. If you wanted to, you could probably reach the end of every level in the game without breaking a sweat. But that's not the only objective. This is a skateboarding game, of course, so you want to bust out the raddest tricks you can and get that score up before you reach the finish line. You do that by using a combination of various stick inputs and button presses. Kind of like how the skate trick system works, where a majority of your tricks are controlled by the joysticks. And just like in the Tony Hawk games, building score is best done by comboing these tricks back to back and employing grinds and manuals in between your tricks to extend your combo. However, where this game differs is in the skill it takes to pull these off perfectly. You have to manually time all your landings, and you'll get a boost for them depending on how well you time them. All the while you're barreling down this level, being faced with back-to-back obstacles that leave you little time for you to plan out your next move. The gameplay here is super tight, and the name of the game here is Speed. You can bust out all these tricks, grind switches, and manuals, but they'll slow you down, and sometimes this will leave you coming up short of the next jump. The level design is also super cool, with these layered designs that make you have to replay the level a few times in order to see all the pathways you can go down. Combine this all together and you get a game that's fun as hell and rewarding to get good at. But now you might be asking the question, well, why do you really care about getting a high score if you could just finish the level? Well, there's 3 reasons. 1, this is a skateboarding game. If you aren't doing tricks, what the hell are you here for? 2, there's a leaderboard, so you can compete with your friends. so you can compete with other people from around the world to try to get the best score. 3. There are challenges on each level for beating these so-called local legend scores. Now what do you get for beating these guys, you ask? What every good skater needs. Drip. And I'm talking about that leaky faucet drip, baby. We got all the classic skate brands here. Draker? Wait, no, hold on. Hobo Logo? Hold on a second here. Swish? We even got Swish? Some name right here. And they also got a bunch of weirder customization options, stuff people actually want to use. We got a bee costume, a skateboard made out of a shovel, a live turtle named Geoff that you can use as a hat. Hell, you even got Danny Trejo. It's even more confusing the second time around.
Kickflip.
Anyways, score challenges aren't the only challenges there are either. Every level has a set of challenges called Mike's challenges, which have you doing a bunch of random things in the level, like collecting statues or doing a certain number of tricks before finishing. The reward here is also customization items. There are also side quest levels which have you doing a bunch of random challenges, which are always a nice change of pace from the main levels. Had you doing things like popping inflatable cats or racing a bear who's floating down a river. There's also a random level generator, so you can play on an infinite number of maps, as well as a ranked mode where you can compete against other players on these randomly generated levels. Now I figured this is a good time as any to talk about my two real grievances about this game. My first complaint has to do with the mode from a previous game, or a lack thereof rather. In OlliOlli 2, there were not only pro versions of each level, which were super difficult versions of the original level, but there was also a challenge called Rad Mode, where you would have to time every landing perfectly, otherwise you would fall. This shit was difficult as hell and fun as hell. This was replaced in OlliOlli World by Radius's challenges, which are like Mike's challenges, only much more difficult. They have you doing a laundry list of things like file your taxes, feed your cat, all the while end the level with exactly 3 grinds and a 48 times combo. Now these are cool, but I wish they'd at least kept Rad Mode in from the last game. My second complaint is the difficulty curve. Throughout most of the game, the scores you have to beat are piss easy. I could sneeze on my controller and beat these scores. The reason for this is because the game doesn't teach you how to do everything at the beginning. Instead, it spaces out the tutorials through the game. But since I played the previous game, I knew how to do everything, so I absolutely crushed these scores. But then, in the final third of the game, they formally teach you how to manual, and at the same time, they decide to say, fuck it, this game is going to be difficult now. Now, my complaints here might make it seem like the majority of the game isn't difficult, or the game is not as difficult as the previous ones, but as someone whose thumb literally went numb from playing this game, I can confirm this is a difficult game. Oh, you son of a bitch. Dude, what the fuck is that? It's not enough. I can't ever beat that motherfucker fingers, bro. What? You still can't do it. You still can't do it. What are you doing? What is that? What is that, man? I know what. It's the hat. It's the hat. Notice some like friction. It's weighing me down. Fuck you! Oh, fuck you so much. Oh no. Why? Why? I've been on this for an hour. No. Not like this! Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you! Woe is me, woe is me! But at the same time, no matter how difficult it gets, you just want to keep playing because the gameplay loop is so addictive. This is my last go and then I'm going to bed. Alright, this is my last go. This is my last go and then I'm going to bed. I can't. This is my final attempt. This is my final attempt. This is my final attempt. And I mean that this time. No takesies backsies. After this, I am not taking anything back. Okay, but see, that one doesn't count because it did the thing, so I have to do another one. When you finally beat that score you've been trying to beat, it feels amazing. Yes, yes. Suck my dick fingers, you stupid, stupid idiot with your dumb haircut. I'll slap you on your bald head, you dumbass. So, in summation, if If you're a platforming fan who likes skateboarding and doesn't mind a bit of difficulty, then this is a game for you. Alternatively, if you're a big Danny Trejo fan, this game is a must-buy.